we had a turnout in 2016, the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. This has never happened. You know, some politicians became really famous because they came in first or second or third in one state. Like they did well in New Hampshire, or they did well in Iowa, or they did well here. But we did well in 32 states. We did actually well in almost all of the states. But we had a tremendous landslide electoral college victory, like people haven't seen in a long time, and it's a great honor. And when this state came out, and, you know, they said, don't bother with Michigan, you're never going to win. As a Republican, you're not going to win. I said, why wouldn't I win when they're losing all their jobs, when all their companies are moving out? Why wouldn't I win? And then I came, my last speech was in Grand Rapids, and I made, anybody there? Yeah, right? Remember that? And the reason it wasn't scheduled, remember? It wasn't scheduled. They say, sir, I came from New Hampshire, and I thought I was finished. They say, sir, your opponent is heading to Michigan, and that wasn't scheduled either. But what did that mean to me? That meant that she had problems. And she was heading there with Bill Clinton, with Barack Hussein Obama, and with a couple of other people, all of her staff. And for some reason, they were going to Michigan. And I said, that means they must be in trouble in Michigan. They said, sir, would you go and make one final speech in Grand Rapids? And so on no notice, we had 32,000 people show up. Right? You remember. We had 32,000 people show up, and no, we gave no notice, so we just showed up with 32,000 people, and Hillary, Crooked Hillary as I call her, she had a small gathering of about 400 people. I said, so in a location that was an easier location. So I said, explain to me, why are we going to lose? And we didn't. We won. And we're going to win it. And this should be better. This time should be easier because we've really produced it. I hear we're doing very well in the polls or whatever. But we should do better because we produced far greater than I said we were going to produce. I mean, you all see the car companies coming in, so it's been really incredible. But for decades, politicians, they campaigned all across Michigan promising to do something about NAFTA, and I call it the NAFTA disaster, only to get elected and do absolutely nothing. They'd take your vote, and then they'd go to Washington, and whether it was 2 years or 4 years, they'd go to Washington, and they'd look at the beautiful columns, and they'd become intimidated by the marble and the beauty and the power, and they wouldn't even want to come back. And I came back because we have a lot to do. We're going to get a lot more car companies moving in. We have a lot more companies moving in. We're producing jobs like you have never seen before in this country. We're producing jobs like you have never seen before. So I just want to say that I've kept my promise, and not only my promise in loving the people of Michigan and all over the country, but my promise of taking care of it so that other countries aren't ripping us off. They were ripping us off. You wouldn't believe what was happening. I guess you would.